I'm Chris Peterson.
And I'm Spencer Cox.
We are currently in the final days of campaigning against each other to be your next governor.
But today we've come together with a message more important than our differences.
That we will fully support the results of the presidential election.
So Utah can be an example to the nation.
Whether you vote by mail or in person, your vote determines the outcome.
And then we commit to a peaceful transfer of power.
It is the very foundation of our country.
And we ask that you stand with us.
Well, good evening, America. This advertisement ran yesterday in Utah. This is the Republican candidate for governor of the state and the Democratic candidate for governor of Utah. And they came together to do this advertisement to support peaceful transfer of power and also to voice that there should be more civility in our politics. And when we saw this ad yesterday in Utah, it literally pulled the oxygen out of our lungs. And we thought we would share it with you tonight before the presidential debate that we are getting ready to watch. It was spectacular, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we did. So good evening, America. It is 7 p.m. Thursday, October 22nd, and this is Queer News Tonight, the world's first live LGBTQ daily evening news. It is time to queer up the news.
Watch as we bring you these and other stories from the LGBTQ headlines. The Pope makes a historic step for the Catholic Church as he suggests LGBTQ civil unions should be recognized.
Is gay marriage in trouble? A bad sign is on the horizon as we report that Coney Barrett was on the board of a private Christian school that once tried to ban children of same-sex parents.
And tonight there are Oscar-worthy reenactments of Donald Trump's daughter Tiffany and her speech at Trump Pride. Here's a slight hint. They're better than the original. So good evening, America. It is 7 p.m. Thursday, October 22nd, 2020. It is time to queer up the news. We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight. The world's first live daily queer evening news show. Out of the closet and into the headlines on Q News Tonight. Well, thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. We are live, and this is an unedited LGBTQ evening news show, so anything can happen. This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective from the LGBTQ community. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and these are my co-anchors tonight, David Hopkins, and, of course, legendary drag performer here in South Florida, Athena Dion.
Thank you, Al.
Let's queer up the news. First off, starting Tuesday, November 3rd, Election Day, Happening Out Television Network will launch the premiere of Good Morning Gay South Florida. It's going to be at 8 a.m. live on all social media channels and then live on demand throughout the rest of the day because this will be daily, focusing exclusively on the news of Gay South Florida's most interesting LGBTQ personalities, Gay South Florida groups, Gay South Florida charities, only Gay South Florida prides, and only Gay South Florida fun, including bars, restaurants, parties, events, and more. Watch this. So on November 3rd, the first thing you do is vote and then tune in to Good Morning Gay South Florida. Tonight, we are going to begin with queer headlines at Q News tonight. The LGBTQ community in America is diverse, of course. The LGBTQ community around the world is vast, and we're going to bring you the bullet points of queer news for today, Thursday, October 22nd, 2020. We begin by queering up the USA. Oscar-worthy reenactments of Tiffany Trump's Trump Pride speech. Let's begin there. Watch this.
Hey everybody, I'm Tiffany Trump, Donald Trump's only daughter who he doesn't want to F.
Aw, you like I? No, I love you. I love you. Oh my God, you guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Wow, that was weird that I have a Southern accent. I guess you could say it was a choice.
Meet me at Hamburger Mary's. Hello, transgender. Or should I say, oh, I am here today to say that I have been to West Hollywood.
I'm voting for number 3. Despite her best efforts, Tiffany's speech was not well received by anyone other than the approximate 24 people who were sitting at the room at the time of Trump Pride in Tampa. And one of those was her mother, who we are reporting tonight has to love her regardless. Needless to say, the parade of mocking videos on social media are well-deserved and shows what our community thinks of the LGBTQ messaging from the young Trump.
I can't wait till somebody auto-tunes the best clips of that speech and turns it into a dance beat and the drag queens start performing it everywhere, because it was a train wreck and a half, and it's terrible and lovely at the same time.
I want to know whose idea this was. Who told her this was going to be a good idea? This is what happens when you don't have any gay friends, okay?
Yeah.
You can tell. There's no pride in that White House, okay? No gays around anywhere.
I don't know which was worse, the hair, or the makeup, or the dress.
And you know the funny thing about your observation? Richard Grinnell also spoke in Tampa at Trump Pride. He is the top-ranking LGBT official ever in history in the White House. And apparently he wasn't Tiffany's friend either, or he would have never allowed her to do this.
Somebody should have stopped it.
You know, right? We continue to queer up the USA. Amy Coney Barrett was on the board of a private Christian school that once tried to ban children of same-sex parents. Reporting has uncovered that Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett served for nearly 3 years on the board of private Christian schools that effectively barred admission to children of same-sex parents and made it plain that openly gay and lesbian teachers weren't welcome in the classroom. The policies that discriminated against LGBTQ people and their children were in place for years at Trinity Schools Incorporated, both before Barrett joined the board in 2015 and during the time she served. This does not bode well for LGBTQ issues during a Barrett appointment to the Supreme Court.
I think somebody needs to answer for this. I think it's very shameful, this history that's being uncovered right now, and I think there needs to be some answers for it. She's about to get appointed to the highest judge, the highest seat in our land, and to make some really big decisions. And something like this, you know, it really it puts a shadow, amongst other things, on her nomination, on her appointment.
You know, and in addition to that, this school group, they have multiple schools, is the same one that Vice President Pence's wife was a teacher at. And it's very homophobic, a homophobic school, very religious evangelical school. That is fine. If Mike Pence's wife wants to teach at this school, fine. But she's not going to be a Supreme Court justice that's going to rule on whether gay marriage is allowed. This is a very, very bad sign for our community.
I actually feel like this is indicative of a larger problem. One of the things I've heard mentioned is that people shouldn't judge Amy Coney Barrett by her personal life, but by her professional life. She has not been a judge for very long, and she has ruled on almost no cases. So there isn't much of a professional record to judge from. This shows that she was not willing to try and make a decision that was right, even when it was just. And she's not going to be a Supreme Court justice.
Well, let's move on to something a little bit more fun, like queering up religion. The Pope calls for civil union legal protections for same-sex couples in major departure from Vatican doctrine. Pope Francis called for the passage of civil union laws for same-sex couples in a documentary that aired in Rome on Wednesday, in a major departure from the position held by the Vatican's doctrinal office. While serving as Archbishop of Buenos Aires, Francis endorsed civil unions for gay couples as an alternative to same-sex marriages. However, he has never come out publicly in favor of civil unions as the Pope.
This is very exciting news because it is a dramatic step forward. At the end of the day, I know a lot of my friends are going to say, well, it's not supporting LGBTQ marriage. Well, it's evolutionary, just like President Trump says he supports it. It's like Obama, it's like Biden, it's like Clinton. It's evolutionary, and this is a good and gigantic step. This is gigantic news for our community, not only in America, but around the world.
And I agree with that completely, because one thing that religion uses as a basis is its traditions. It's the fact that it stays steady through change. So the fact that the Catholic Church is willing to change because it's the right thing to do is a good sign. It's a slow step, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I mean, they have been preaching these doctrines for thousands of years, so baby steps, right? I mean, this is a huge step in the right direction, and definitely bringing some good publicity to our community, and a step in the right direction for all of us.
Absolutely. And by the way, I can't help but notice in this 3-shot, I'm looking like hamburger meat compared to Athena Dion. You look spectacular tonight.
Thank you. What does that make me? A bun?
A filet mignon.
Okay.
All right.
I'm the chopped liver.
And yeah, you're the chopped liver. I agree with that. All right. So next, let's queer up Vote 2020. Trump and Biden to meet for the epic final debate showdown. President Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger, Joe Biden, are set to square off in the final debate tonight, one of the last high-profile opportunities for the trailing incumbent to change the trajectory of an increasingly contentious campaign. Biden, who has stepped off the campaign trail in favor of debate preparation, expects Trump to get intensely personal. The former vice president and his inner circle see the president's approach chiefly as an effort to distract from the coronavirus, its economic fallout, and other crises that face the White House. We can't wait to see how our Hunter Biden drinking game goes behind the scenes tonight.
And, you know, it's like you said, it's going to be very personal, because I honestly am of the opinion that Trump does not know anything about facts. He hates facts. He is very good at marketing, and he knows his base markets for they want that personal attack. I think the mute is really going to mess with him, though.
I can't wait to play the drinking game.
Yeah.
I've got a nice bottle of vodka in the freezer, and every time I hear Hunter Biden, baby, I'm taking a shot, okay?
It's going to be fun. The mute button, of course, I think is going to be the big issue. Tomorrow, I think that's what all of America, especially all of the LGBTQ America, is going to be talking about, is how often he was muted and what his reaction to being muted when he can't shout down Vice President Biden in terms of what he is going to say.
It's going to be glorious. Next week, queer up gay culture. Most LGBTQ students verbally harassed in school. Anti-LGBTQ harassment and bullying remain common in U.S. schools, and some experiences of harassment, such as hearing slurs, are near universal. Gleason's 2019 National School Climate Survey, released this month, found that 98.8% of LGBTQ students have heard gay used as an insult in school. 96.9% have heard the phrase no homo at school, and 95% heard other negative remarks, such as anti-gay slurs. The expression, "that's so gay," is one of the most commonly heard, and its prevalence increased from 2015 to 2019. The use of no homo increased between 2017 and 2019, after having declined for several years.
You know, when I originally heard this story, it actually struck a nerve with me, and it kind of took me back to when I was in school and I would hear comments like that. And I especially feel terrible for the children that are not out yet, and they hear that comment, "that's so gay," and then that little trigger in their brain goes, "Gosh, I'm gay. I hope they don't find out," because obviously this is not a good situation. And I really feel bad, and I'm sure everybody watching this right now, and of course my panel, I'm not going to speak for you, but maybe you can understand how it was too. But this is not good for our kids, and I thought we had come farther than that. And it's unfortunate to hear these kind of numbers still happening in 2020.
Absolutely a bullseye. The two overriding issues that come out of this survey, it's very important for the LGBTQ community to digest this because we think we have made so much progress. This helps reground us of where we are. And the 2 points that come out of this grounding is first, it has worsened. The reason it has worsened, even in overall acceptance like gay marriage and the LGBTQ community, is because of the President of the United States. The last 4 years has made this kind of language more accessible. And that is a tangible consequence of having someone that is president like Donald Trump. Second, if this was the black community and you heard in the upper 90 percentile of black young people in schools saying that they heard these kind of slurs on a daily or common basis, we would be up in arms because it would be totally wrong. We don't hear it on the LGBT community, and that is the reason why this story is so important. We have a long way to go to change attitudes. We're happy that our 20 and 30 and 40 and our 60-year-old Americans are accepting us, but we need our children and our students to be protected.
I saw a political post being shared from a conservative source recently that said, we can't afford to have Joe Biden as president because we can't have the weakness of his empathy. Empathy is not weakness, and the fact that there are so many people who are thinking that right now is exactly what's wrong with our world.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, let's queer up the USA. Support for gay marriage reaches all-time high. 70% of Americans support same-sex marriage, according to the 11th Annual American Values Survey, the highest percentage recorded by a major national poll. The results, released Monday, found just 28% of respondents opposed the rights of gay couples to wed. Approval crossed the political divide, with majorities of Democrats, 80%, and independents, 76%, supporting same-sex marriage. And even 50% of Republicans now support it, despite what many vocal figures for the GOP may have you believe otherwise.
It's exactly the point of the follow-up of this previous story that we did.
It's got to stick with the facts. Well, normally, because Al hates fake news, and normally so do I. But sometimes there's a story just too juicy not to include, even if it does end up being fake. That's why tonight I'm celebrating trashy people in a trashy story with a special segment of Queer Up Trash.
Queer Up Trash.
Yes.
Wow, I've never heard this one before.
Well, we're going to queer up trash by reporting Rudy Giuliani caught in awkward position in new Borat movie. Watch this.
Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, might have just experienced one of the most awkward scenes in the Borat film. Mr. Giuliani was fooled into meeting with the 24-year-old actress Maria Bakalova, who was playing Borat's daughter and posing as a conservative TV journalist. The former mayor of New York City then met the actress in a hotel room after a fake interview, but things soon take an extremely awkward turn when the 76-year-old begins to hold her hands, compliment her looks, and follow her to the bedroom. After she removes his mic, he is seen reclining on a bed and putting his hands down his pants, only to be interrupted by Cohen's Borat character. Thankfully, the pair were interrupted when Borat came bursting into the room and said, "She's 15, she's too old for you."
That line is everything. If you've seen Sacha Baron Cohen's movies, you'll be familiar with his style of throwing actors playing exaggerated characters into situations with real people to tell a story. While filming his sequel to the popular Borat movie, the president's personal lawyer and advisor, Rudy Giuliani, was caught in what could be a very hard-to-explain situation. Who's the trash in this story? Well, I guess we'll find out when Borat, subsequent movie film, comes out on Amazon Prime tomorrow.
He's going to only get through the weekend by saying Hunter Biden 496 times in the next 4 days.
We're going to be so drunk after that, too.
Right. Well, that's our headlines for today. Next, let's catch up on all the news surrounding COVID-19 with our segment we call Quarantine Quickies. There's a lot to discuss during this pandemic, so let's get it underway.
Quarantine Quickies. Fauci confirms U.S. one of hardest hit countries by coronavirus. Watch this.
So as of just a day or so ago, there were 38 plus million cases worldwide and over 1 million deaths. Unfortunately for us here in the United States, we have been the hardest hit country in the world with about 215,000 deaths and close to 8 million infections throughout the country. With this heat map here showing with the darker colors, the most involved sections and regions of the country.
Dr. Anthony Fauci on Wednesday confirmed the U.S. remains one of the countries hardest hit by the coronavirus pandemic. Fauci said the coronavirus pandemic is the world's deadliest pandemic since the so-called Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. Fauci, who is director of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases at the National Institutes of Health, noted that there have been roughly 8.1 million confirmed coronavirus cases in the U.S. and 218,986 deaths. He also cited statistics that indicate there are 40.5 million coronavirus cases around the world and 1,121,251 deaths from the pandemic.
Yeah, I noticed on that map that Florida is in the dark brown, and that's very concerning. You know, we're still in it. We still have to wear our masks. We still have to be safe, and we have to listen to the scientists above all.
It directly impacts the LGBTQ community. From in February, we started to report coronavirus cases and deaths. You can see our focus in the United States, 15,944 LGBTQ deaths and 603 cases, and worldwide nearly 80,000 LGBTQ deaths. It's definitely a pandemic, and America is the worst of the worst.
Yeah, and you mentioned Florida. I remember for many, many months when Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach counties were being made fun of for staying locked down. And the rest of the state blew their doors open, and now cases are shooting up from Orlando to Tampa to Jacksonville, Tallahassee. But Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach counties are managing to keep it in check because we're still on the slow side of opening.
Wear your mask, people.
Yep.
Quarantine quickies. Studies show LGBTQ America can fly again safely. Watch this.
Researchers in full protective gear spread live virus droplets on high-touch surfaces, from the seats and seatbacks to tray tables, the galley, lavatory, and cockpit. The surrogate virus is MS2, not harmful to humans, but more difficult to kill than COVID.
This is really first of its kind, is to show that we can kill the virus effectively using the tools and techniques we've provided in the actual airline environment on board.
Researchers tested the same products airlines already use, applying chemical disinfectants, using an electrostatic sprayer, a UV light wand, and an antimicrobial coating. University of Arizona virology professor Charles Gerba led the study. The results? All 4 airline techniques worked on their own, killing the virus and making the plane virus-free.
As COVID-19 has ripped through the world, one of the primary concerns has been air travel and if airplanes are safe. However, as the months have piled on, all data seems to be pointing to the fact that it is safe to travel on planes, as there is very little data to suggest air travel exposes people to any heightened risk of exposure if other protocols such as masks are followed. Compared to August, 10 times the amount of people are now traveling, and while it is good to be vigilant, it appears the air is relatively safe.
Excellent news. In Quarantine Quickies, Target bolsters coronavirus protections for shoppers ahead of the holiday season hours. Target stores are enacting additional safety protocols to help shoppers get in and out of its stores, or not even enter the store if you choose, ahead of the holiday shopping season. Among the advances is an update to the Target mobile app's wallet payment option so it can be used to check out in a contactless manner, bypassing a scanner device completely. Target is also making it easier for customers to use its drive-up service by letting shoppers show their app through the car window to get purchases that they have made online. Undoubtedly, other retailers will follow suit heading into the holidays. Well, throughout this summer of social distancing, we've looked for a little joy in the selections for the world's best. And this time, it's the world's best nude beaches. I know Athena's getting excited at this moment, where you can enjoy but not taste the candy. Enjoy the view from a sensible and carefully masked 6 feet away. But here are our picks of the world's best nude beaches. Watch this.
Queer News Tonight presents The world's best nude beaches. Number 10. Praia de Boa Vista, Portugal. Number 9. Swanbourne Beach, Perth, Australia. Number 8. Praia de Galhada, Florianópolis, Brazil. Number 7. Pirates Cove, Avila Beach, California, United States. Number 6. Zipolite, Oaxaca, Mexico. Number 5. Las Salinas Beach, Ibiza, Spain. Number 4. Playa Chihuahua, Punta del Este, Uruguay. Number 3. Lady Jane Beach, Sydney, Australia. Number 2. Playa del Muerto, Sitges, Spain. And number 1. Oliver Beach, Miami, Florida, United States. This has been the world's best nude beaches. What did you think? Share your thoughts in the live comment thread. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
You know, I swear to goodness, Queer News Tonight has become a tourist development promotion for coming to South Florida. It's very interesting. So if you're looking for something a little more modest, Happening Out Television Network is broadcasting in our permanent set here in partnership with the Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church in Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors, Florida. We always joke, this is the gayest place on planet Earth, and all you have to do is look to my left or right to prove that. Our support of their Sunday celebration is the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world, every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's completely live. We encourage you to tune in. Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this.
Hi, I'm Athena Dion, drag performer known from performing on South Beach and in Mykonos, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
By the way, America, that was very difficult to do. The reason she had the full headset on is because when she walked through the threshold, she burst into flames.
Yeah, my original wig was much bigger.
Right. We'd like to also thank our set designer, Concepta Modern Living here in Fort Lauderdale, for making this set in this amazing queer church campus possible. All right, well, we're going to end tonight's broadcast with the big finish. Short story mentions of LGBT news or news with a gay perspective. So here we go. First on Queer News Tonight's The Big Finish. A naked man is caught on camera stealing a Biden-Harris sign from someone's front yard.
You know, I can't really see him that well to know if I want to put some extra signs out, but I'm kind of worried about the stuff on their driveway. Is that like satanic cult symbols? I don't know. I don't know which part of this is most tragic.
You guys, listen, my sign didn't come in time, and I really wanted one, so I had to run out and get this one. I can't believe they got me on camera.
Athena is anonymous if she's the man, not as the queen. That was you. I kind of suspected that.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, a big Trump supporter you are, I'm sure. Right. It just goes to show those liberals, go naked in front of cameras so that the world can see your dedication. I guess.
Dedication.
Yeah.
He was really assertive.
Yeah. The big finish. Over 50 otters bear their hairy chests, their backs, and their bottoms in this brand new 2021 calendar.
You know, I hate my job so much because I had to go through all these images to find ones to put to this.
Right.
I have to say, a lot of them I couldn't add because we broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. But some of these guys aren't really otters. Like Boomer Banks, I love you, but you barely have any hair. Like
Boomer
that guy.
Banks
Yes.
is in this calendar?
Multiple times.
Oh.
I want you guys to guess which one of those guys is me.
The one in the middle right there.
Yeah, the one in the middle, right? I almost didn't make it to the show tonight, by the way, because I was so busy looking through all of these pictures for research. I'm a news guy. I have to do lots and lots and lots. Athena, did I tell you lots of research? I love the internet, folks. The big finish. This is my favorite story of the day. Gay penguins steal an entire nest from lesbian penguins to become dads. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, see, Pope, this is the problem with civil unions as opposed to marriage, is some places don't allow for civil unions for adoption.
And the rivalry continues.
Yeah, exactly. First off, the fact that they found out that there were gay penguins and that there were lesbian penguins, I mean, you've got to love science. We should follow science and doctors. They know what they're talking about.
Do you know what country you're in?
Yeah, true. And even in the animal kingdom, it's really kind of a shame. Lesbians can't seem to catch any breaks.
No, that's true. All right. Well, that's today's news for the LGBTQ community, both human and animal, on the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Remember, if it's important to the LGBTQ community, it's important to Queer News Tonight. But you must help us. Click subscribe on YouTube, ring the bell for updates, and share this news.
We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Look around me, folks. Come on.
Look at you.
This is the only... I'm not in lavender, first off.
Everything's just normal here, guys.
That's right. This is the only source of live LGBTQ news in the world, and your community needs your support.
You are not alone, unless you're a lesbian penguin, apparently. We will get through this crisis.
We are here with you, and this is Queer News Tonight.
So thank you, America, for joining us. I'm Al Ferguson, and on behalf of David Hopkins...
And if your photo didn't make that otter survey, feel free to send it to me.
Oh, and wait, I'm the news guy. I'm the one that does the research. And Athena Dion.
Just here to wear the lavender hair.
Right. We will see you daily at 7 p.m. Good night, America.
Good night.